In the previous lesson, we learned about the three essential elements of web design: a domain name, a web host, and a web application framework. In this lesson, we will be learning about what's a content management system. A content management system, or CMS, is a web application for non-technical users to create and edit web content, manage and customize the website with ease. So, instead of having to learn how to code with HTML or JavaScript to create a website, you will just need a CMS that has the features and functionality that will allow you to create and maintain the website. Now, since the CMS is a software itself, there are two types of content management systems available for use: a proprietary and an open source version. A proprietary CMS means that the source code is closed to the public, while an open source CMS allows the source code to be seen and modified by anyone. This means that the company who creates a proprietary CMS is the only one who is allowed to view or modify the code in any way, keeping you locked in. An open source CMS, however, allows you more freedoms in knowing any changes that are made to the source code. Let's compare these two against 5 different factors. Number 1, support. An open source CMS generally will have larger user base, making it easier to find solutions to common problems on the website. Proprietary, however, is depend on how reliable and proactive the developers are. Number 2, customization. In an open source CMS, it is less costly to customize, but may be more costly if advanced customization is required. For proprietary CMS, unless it is built purposely for a specific niche, advanced customization may be required and is usually quite costly. Number 3, cost. It's usually less expensive to maintain an open source system as compared to a proprietary system. Number 4, security. For open source system, it's dependent on how consistent security updates are launched for the core system and the third-party plugins. It's generally believed that proprietary systems are more secure due to the authority of the code, but it is also dependent on the consistent security updates. Number 5, portability. Open source systems are often easier to move from one platform or web host to another, while exporting data from proprietary system may be tricky and require expertise from the original developer. In this course, we will be using the open source self-hosted version of WordPress, which is available for download at wordpress.org. However, there are actually 2 types of WordPress system available. The version found in wordpress.com is the proprietary system that functions like what we have just went through. Although we will be using the open source version of WordPress, let me show you what a proprietary version looks like and how it differs from the open source version.
WordPress.com does is WordPress.com. So you have you basically have the things like price, plans and price. So if you click on that, there are different price that you can see. So if you pay like annually, so in order to do whatever we are going to do during the class later on, right? For these 3 days, if including e-commerce, for closed source, you have to pay $63. $63 Sing dollars, and you times 12, right? You pay about $700 over per year. Okay, so remember this amount, 750. That's it. Okay, we put it at 750, right? Per year, you pay about $700. For e-commerce, that is if you're going to use a closed source version of WordPress, right? But how much is open source? So remember, the amount that you pay here, the $63 you are paying here, is basically just for you to pay for your domain, your web host, and the web application framework, which is these 3 things will cost you about $700 per year. But if you go for open source, right, then we don't have to pay for the web application framework, right? So we only need to pay for the domain and the web host. So later on, we can go through again and share with you. I will share with you what is the cost that you can pay, that you need to pay for just domain name and web host. You can find how much is difference itself. So remember this amount, $700 for WordPress.com.
So those are some differences between the two systems. Hopefully now you understand the differences between an open source and a proprietary content management systems. In the next lesson, we'll be looking more in depth into the types of domain names.